What's up, Real MVPs, Ricky Widmer here, and welcome into another edition of MVP Sports Live right here. You might be watching us on Twitch, you may be watching us on YouTube, no matter how you are. Thank you for spending a little bit of your day with us. I am joined as I used to say, it's the original, as I always am. You're the only one I can say as I always am. My beautiful co-host, Dave Oster.
Hey, everybody.
Dave, how you doing today? Friday, baby. It's Friday.
I'm enjoying the start to the weekend. I just wish that Chicago would admit that it's fucking time for summer. Like, we had snow this week. I'm sick of it. I'm already looking forward to the 70s, man. It's close.
Today wasn't that bad.
Haven't even looked outside.
Yeah, right now it's cloudy. I did walk outside earlier today because I had to go to the bank, and it wasn't that bad outside.
I should have gone to said bank.
I mean, tomorrow it's supposed to be 61 and rainy. Then a cool 46 on Sunday, Dave.
That's the problem.
Then on Monday, 79. Tuesday, 82, man. And then right back down to 66, 54, 61.
Going out Monday, Tuesday, apparently. Yeah.
Oh, man. I love how it says on Tuesday, right up to 82 degrees. Like summer is here. Yeah. White boy summer. That's the thing that was out there with the shirts that looked a little bit questionable, Dave. Yeah. And then Chicago says, no, right back to winter. Put that park on. That's what you need.
We still in spring.
Yeah, we still in spring. But, Dave, today's all NBA. It's a great day. We talked NBA on Monday. Was it Monday, Tuesday? I think it was Tuesday. We talked NBA on Tuesday. It was a great draft show. We're talking all NBA today. And before we get into the show, there's some sad news we have to talk about first. But before we get into everything, I'm just going to double down on the sadness to start the show. This has probably been the worst week to be a basketball fan with all the injuries we've seen this week. What was it? What was the day Trae Young got injured? It was like Trae Young, Denny Abdia, Clint Capella, and then someone else that I'm missing all go down. Then even Kristaps goes down. That's what one of the things we're talking today. No, it wasn't Don Mitch. I gotta look at the meme because the thing was man, this has been the worst week to be a sports fan. Because of all the injuries. We're going to talk about Kristaps today. But, Dave, the thing we have to start the show off today, a little somber note to start. A little tragic news hitting us yesterday. I wanted to start off, give our condolences to Terrence Clark. Tragic news that he passed away yesterday. Car accident. Dude would have been a pro, second-round draft pick for sure out of Kentucky. Obviously not going to spend an hour on this, but just wanted to give our condolences, see if you have anything to say about it, big guy.
Nope.
Dave's like, nope, moving right along. But yeah, condolences to Terrence Clark. It sucks. I hope the NBA does something like they did with
honorary draft pick,
yeah, just honorary draft pick because he was going to get drafted anyways. And the thing that sucked most about it, Jake was the first one to know about it because we were in the Discord. He's like, holy shit, this happened. And then all the speculation. Oh, BJ Boston was in the car with them. This happened.
BJ was in the car behind him.
Yeah. So, just wanted to start the show off.
Tough. That's losing your best friend and watching it happen. So,
even reverberations of Casey Johnson posted a tweet that apparently Terrence Clark talked to Kobe White before during the draft process and was basically peppering Kobe White with questions. And apparently he told Kobe White I'm gonna be here with you. I'm gonna be in the NBA. And it just sucks the sad news that we got yesterday. But before we get into the show, let's do the housekeeping lickety split. Number one, if you are not a part of the MVP Discord, go ahead and join it today. It is free. It's the greatest community in the universe. Link down below in the description on YouTube, !Discord into Twitch chat. Get you that link for Twitch so you can get in there. It is free. If you do want to support us, patreon.com/MVPvids is how you can do that. You can also throw us a sub on Twitch. No matter how you support us, you get rewarded for doing so as Twitch subscribers. Get the bronze tier from the Patreon as well. And we are on Twitch, twitch.tv/MVPvids, Monday through Friday. We're on YouTube at MVP Sports. And there's no schedule this week because this is Friday. We're talking NBA today. And Dave, the first thing we're taking a look at are the Los Angeles Clippers, Dave, because first off, before I go full stat mode and give you a fun tweet that I found out, I want you to get on your soapbox a little bit because I know you weren't able to talk about it because Wet Boys was an individual video and you were not on it. But this week you gave a Wet Boy to Luke Kennard and the G League Clippers.
Yeah, I mean, look, this is a team that when they got to rest guys, they got to rest guys. This week we had a situation where Luke Kennard had to lead. See, I know Marooks was still there, but in all honesty, it was the G League Clippers. Luke Kennard, someone who drawn a lot of criticism to start the season because of his contract, still trying to find his role on that team early on. Now it's very clear where he falls in, and he still has an amazing shot. It's just a really good player. So that Clippers team, again, loaded with depth. They found a couple nice pieces throughout the year, and they are scary as fuck.
I mean, you say scary as fuck. The tweet that I saw this week, I saw it from our Discord. So yet again, you'll get things like this shared with you if you're in our Discord. Link down below, exclamation Discord in the Twitch chat. It's from StatMuse, and it says the Clippers have won 10 of their 11 of their last 11. English is hard, folks. They are 18-5 since the All-Star break. They beat the Grizzlies without PG, Kawhi, Rondo, or Reggie Jackson. Dave, that poses the question that we're answering today. If you are in the West, if you are the Suns, the Jazz, the Lakers, even the Blazers, who they probably are on the outside because they're not even that tough. They're on the other end of the Clipper spectrum. Should the West be looking at the Clippers going, all right, they may be the team to beat this year in our conference?
Well, I mean, as far as healthiness goes, they're taking care of their guys and they're resting when they need them to, which is the one smart thing that's going on. Obviously, the Lakers just had Anthony Davis return. Got a lot of rust. On Anthony Davis in his return. Shot very poorly. Little to no defense in his limited minutes. So that'll take him a little bit to get back, and we'll have to wait and see for LeBron James's return. Honestly, probably going to get a little hate here. They really should have never let Rondo and Dwight go, because Rondo now Clipper and doing phenomenally.
Dwight not playing that bad for the old Philadelphia 76ers.
You are correct. So, I think they underestimated the impact of Rondo, who was the third best player during the playoffs, going for that championship down there in Mickey Mouse land. I really like what the Clippers have done to round out this roster, and they're able to kind of get something a little different from all the guys. They're using their bench depth well. A lot of the time you see kind of, after 7, it doesn't matter. After 8, it doesn't matter in playoffs. It feels like the Clippers legit can dig in the well and find an answer for a lot of things beyond that mark. So I think they did a really good job with roster construction. I think that Ty Lue deserves a lot of credit for what he's done as a coach on this team, because I mocked him a little bit.
I mocked him a little bit. We might have mocked him a lot, especially when he was on the Cavs. I look at these teams, and really the teams that I'm comparing with, basically anyone below the Lakers in the standings, not even thinking about you. If you're in the play-in tournament and you're the Blazers, not even thinking about you. Also, sorry to Denver fans, because I mentioned the Blazers before you guys. Probably shouldn't have done that. Probably shouldn't have mentioned the Blazers over the Nuggets.
Nuggets are kind of a big deal still.
Well, here's the thing, where the Lakers I'm going to push over to the side, because I do agree with you. Kind of looking like they shouldn't have gotten rid of Rondo and Dwight Howard. But they're a team where LeBron James, as long as he's on this team,
is yet to come.
The best is yet to come. LeBron James could come back, and it's oh, boom, the Lakers are the team to beat all of a sudden. The Nuggets, to me, I feel like my prediction for the Nuggets will be really strong end of the regular season. Jokic going to put up MVP type numbers. He's going to make a run for it. They're not going to do much. They're not going to do much in the playoffs. They might win a series, but if they're going up against the Lakers and LeBron's back, good luck with that. The Jazz, the Donovan Mitchell thing, because correct me if I'm wrong or refresh my memory, his wasn't a out for the year situation, right?
No.
He's
not.
That's the thing. When he comes back, it's okay, that's the true question. What will the Jazz look like when he comes back? Because right now, they're continuing to beat teams, but let's be honest, some of the teams that they are playing are just not on the Jazz level. We're also getting to the point in the season, and yet again, as a bettor, it is infuriating, Dave, because not only do you have to manage who's on the court now, you have to kind of go, what teams are tanking, what teams are trying to lose, What teams don't care that they cover anymore because they're not going to be competitive in games. So there's that going on. Like the last few games for the Jazz, they beat the Rockets on Wednesday. They played 2 games against the Lakers where they split. One went to overtime. Indiana's been horrible. OKC is going for a tank job. Like the last significant opponent that they played was probably Phoenix on April 7th. Was the last significant opponent that they played. I honestly think that the Clippers are the team to beat in the West, especially with a healthy PG and a healthy Kawhi, and all they care about is getting those 2 healthy for the playoffs. I'm going to say this. Outside of a healthy LeBron, because yet again I pushed them to the side, out of all the other teams, the team I'm most intrigued with is the Phoenix Suns. How are they going to perform? They would be my number 1 contender right now until LeBron gets healthy.
I mean, we can be completely honest about what Chris Paul is doing is incredible. He's breaking records. His assist to turnover ratio is immaculate.
Passed Irvin Magic Johnson on the assist list this year.
He is doing disgusting things in his last 8 games or something. It was like 60-3 or something like that. It was just dumb numbers that don't even make sense anymore. That's how good he is on that team, and I respect what the Phoenix Suns are doing. I don't buy for a minute that will hold up in the playoffs. You can say they're your favorites. I look at this Clippers team and I cannot pass up on the Clippers being the favorites for the playoffs. I think they've got the best built roster. I think they are the deepest. I think that they have 2 top talents between Paul George, who has just been doing incredible things all season and getting dunked on for what he had happened to him last season. Can he get back to a point where playoff Paul is back? Or will it just be a choke artist situation yet again? Like, I hope not. I really think that he and Kawhi Leonard are set up and ready to take this team to a championship. I love the Jazz. I think the Jazz and what happens with Rudy Gobert and their depth is incredible. I think that is the team that I look at and go, situationally, I might pick them to go to the finals. They're a team where if they get the right matchups all along, they can take somebody and they can beat anyone in this series. But if they face the wrong team too early or whatever, can't do it, won't do it. I just don't believe in the Suns. I think that Devin Booker is an incredible scorer, but the consistency is not always there. The defense isn't there. I love Mikal. The Mikal jail's great, but it's Chris Paul and his bunch of young friends who are he's carrying basically on his back, trying to make a playoff run here. This is definitely a year to find out just where their limits really are. And I would be shocked if they made it to the Western Conference Finals.
And Ben in Twitch chat says, he goes, I remember when PG-13 told the media they hadn't seen playoff P yet. Obviously last year we were talking about pandemic P, not playoff P. But before I ask you the series of questions that I'm going to ask you, I have to make sure that I've got so based on the play-in tournament, I finally have the answers that we've all been asking ourselves because most of us think play-in tournament and then we go, so is it going to be exactly like last year? I don't know if we've had that hammered out. According to ESPN, the way that their graphic kind of does it is let's see. So how they have it is the 7th place team will play the 8th place team. Winner of that game will be the 7th seed. They have the 9 and 10 play each other. Those 2 teams, the winner of that game will then play the 8th seed for the 8th overall seed. So if right now, let's say it's the Mavericks and the Grizzlies, I think, are the 7-8. I have it right here. The Mavericks are 7. The Grizzlies are 8. So the Mavericks will play the Grizzlies.
Great matchup.
If the Grizzlies win, they're the 7th seed. That would mean the Mavericks would have to play the winner of the Spurs Warriors in order to see who gets the 8th seed. And I asked that because we're not going to do the tournament. I thought it was something easier than that. Phoenix Suns, if they have to match up against the Mavericks first round of the playoffs, how confident are you that they get out of that matchup?
I mean,
because the Clippers have the Blazers. They could just walk to the second round.
Probably because the Blazers will have some crippling injury that will happen to them because that is, that's what happens when you build your stadium on haunted grounds. I mean, that's the Trailblazers the last 4 years. It's just, you're going to get injured. Sorry, man. You went to the wrong city.
Yeah.
I think that the Mavs, and we'll talk about this later,
Yeah.
are dependent on one person actually being there and being healthy.
Yeah.
And if he's not 100%, then this Phoenix Suns team should beat them. Yes.
Yeah. I mean, then
Chris
that
Paul and Mikal Bridges match up really well with slowing down Luka Doncic. In a series, they can really zero in on him, try to slow down Hardaway. Like, they should be good to go as far as keeping them down. I mean, that matchup will be good, but I think it would be kind of like a 4-2. I think 6 games is best case scenario, assuming there may be some unhealthy people.
I mean, and then that means Suns Clippers play in the second round, and like what, Clippers in 5, Clippers in 6. Be honest to the Suns, or just say Clippers in 5, let them go 1.
I think 5.
Yeah.
I mean, brutally honest, and I think 5. I think the Suns team regular season great.
Yeah.
I think in a series they will get exposed by this Clippers team who will find answers, who will play 110%. Like, there's no way that not happening.
The last question I have for you, this is about the Clippers. If they get past the entire Western Conference, they are in the NBA Finals.
Yeah.
What type of a percentage, is there any opponent in the East that can give them a ride for their money? And 2, how do you see them match up against the East? Because really, it's the Sixers, Nets, and Bucks are the 3 favorites. It's the Nets will have the lowest odds. Sixers will probably have the next lowest, and the Bucks will be not that far behind the Sixers. Sixers and Bucks might even be at the same odds.
Yeah, I mean, if you had to ask me, Nets or Clippers, I'm gonna pick the Nets. Yeah. I don't know a team I would pick over the Nets, and I'm assuming health. It's impossible for me to say a team would beat them right now with the talent and the shooting that they have. So I can't go against that. But as far as the rest of the East, I think it is up for discussion. I think the Bucks and Sixers are at the top. The Celtics have been playing their best basketball as of late, and when it gets into a series, I'm terrified of what the Miami Heat can do. Okay. That is a team that's just I don't even count the regular season. I just look at their roster and go, okay, that's a playoff team. I don't want to match up with them in a series. In a best of, I'll pass. Thanks. I think that those 2 teams have earned their way into a position where I don't know that you can count them as equals to the Sixers and Bucks. Yeah. But I think that you can't discount them very much.
So you brought up the Celtics. I have a quick 2 stats about them. Yet again, this is from StatMuse. Nice. Number 1, and I had to quote this on Twitter. I'll tell you what I said after I read the tweet. The Celtics have won 7 of their last 8 games. Those wins have come against the Suns, Nuggets, Warriors, Blazers, Knicks, and Lakers.
Playoffs.
I quoted that tweet and said, yeah, but that one loss was against the Bulls. So got to knock them down a peg. Right here. The Bulls are garbage right now. However, I think the Bulls will lose and they win. I think they win and they'll lose. I don't know how to gauge this team. And then also your boy Dave, Kemba Walker. In April, he's played 9 games. He's averaging 17 round up, 18 points a game, 5 rebounds, 6 assists, about 3 threes a game, and 46% from the field. The Celtics are 8-1 when he plays in that span.
Don't even fucking care.
Celtics, I'm just throwing them out. I'm
just saying this team wins and loses with Jason Tatum.
Yeah.
He is their best player as of right now. Like I said, I gave the precursor to this around All-Star break. He came back healthy from COVID. He was starting to feel it. And all they've done since is thrive. So I'm super happy with what they've done. I think that it's awesome that the Celtics team is finding ways to win games. My concern is that Kemba Walker. He is that guy who, he's been there for a couple games. He's actually contributing to winning basketball games. Will he be there? Will he be healthy? Can you count on him in crunch time, in the playoffs? Or will he continue to be the choke artist that is Kemba Walker, who just comes up short?
And, Ben, the Celtics fan in Twitch chat, says Bulls are the Celtics' dad right now. And that's why I have to say, you better hope, Ben, that those Celtics stay in the playoffs and not the play-in tournament. Because if the Bulls are there and have to play the Celtics, you know what's going to happen.
Catch me outside.
We should have swept him, Dave. If Rondo didn't hurt his wrist, we would have swept him. I know we would have. But
it's crazy to think how good Rondo is and how much he got shit talked for years. I mean, just Hall of Famer. He's a first ballot Hall of Famer.
You think so?
100%.
Dave, the next thing we're talking about has to do with the team we mentioned, the Dallas Mavericks. Kristaps Porzingis is injured yet again. And this was a topic that you threw out there that you wanted to talk about. So I'm going to let you take this one. You take the bull by the horns. What are you thinking about Kristaps and his injury with the Mavericks?
Man, this is like Groundhog's Day. I swear, every time I watch the Mavericks, I see another Kristaps Porzingis injury. Like, it is just dreadful to watch because this time, I mean, it wasn't even like anyone's fault. It was completely accidental ankle. It happened. Like, but I swear, he is the most fragile player I've seen in I don't know how long. Like, I feel I would have to feel so frustrated if I'm on that Mavs team because you have one of the youngest, brightest, shiny stars in the NBA. You have, an MVP candidate yearly in Luka Doncic, and you're trying to build a team around him. And for some reason, Jalen Brunson is the second best player on this team. I can't explain that. I don't understand the roster construction. That's effectively what's going on here. That's what I'm seeing. And that is the frustration because you're not going to win a championship. No offense to Jalen Brunson. He's fantastic. And I would kill to have him as my starting point guard on the Bulls. Not going to happen, though. I just don't know long-term if this has been the right move for them. Like, they pulled out all the stops to get KP there, to re-sign him to a big deal. But look at the games played. Look at the contribution of him on the court. Like, him and Luka have have not had a ton of time on the court together because of basically trading off injuries, but KP being the one who misses more time at all times. And he's just not comfortable in their system. It feels like he's never really found his groove to thrive on that team. So trying to make that 1-2 punch, the Europeans, between KP and Luka, I think is a failure right now. And I look at that and I start going, is it too early to start pointing at the clock? The clock's ticking, guys. Like, you only have a window with that rookie contract for so long. I don't want to say it was a mistake yet, but like, we all knew the risks going into this deal. Well, we knew why New York was going to move on someone who is as talented as him. It's because he's never there, because he's always injured.
Yeah, and I mean, to remind everyone of the exact deal, it was Porzingis was traded alongside Trey Burke, Courtney Lee, and Tim Hardaway Jr. to the Mavericks for DeAndre Jordan, Wesley Matthews, and Dennis Smith Jr., and then they got an unprotected 2021 first-round pick that we'll see this year, and then an additional top 10 pick in 2023. So, like, I agree with you. It's a little too early to say if this was a failure or not, only because, like,
they got out of it. Like, New York Knicks, because of that cap situation, went out and signed Julius Randle. They went out, signed Marux Morris, traded him, got Emmanuel Quickley back. Julius Randle, Emmanuel Quickley, and 2 first-rounders. Or a hurt Kristaps Porzingis and Tim Hardaway Jr., who is playing well. I have no qualms against THJ, but like, he's a shooter. He's a gunner. That's all he'll bring to the team. He's never anything more than that. So value-wise, I'm looking back at this going like,
and they bought out DeAndre Jordan, right? They bought him out, and that's how he got to Brooklyn. Okay, because like, I mean, picks wise,
that or he finished out the season with them, and they were just like
one of the two. Like, picks wise though, we can't look at it and go, like, it's important you bring that up because I didn't even make the connection that, hey, by getting this off the books, these guys are now all, we traded or let go what we got, and they got Julius Randle from that.
Randle and quickly.
Draft wise, we haven't really seen, like, this year will be the first Dallas pick that we get. If New York gets a steal with that pick and it plays out, then you start the question.
Already it's all-star Julius Randle, potential MIP Julius Randle, potential third-team All-NBA Julius Randle. Those 3 things I never thought I would say in like back-to-back. First off, just that's been awesome. But then quickly, someone who has been incredible. He has been a top 5 rookie on a lot of people's boards as far as this season's gone, and that's under the tutelage of Tom Thibodeau and Derrick Rose. So he hasn't been getting, the like ultra green light that, a rookie on a bad team get. He's on a playoff team playing real minutes, and they're winning games. This is a New York Knicks team who is deep in the playoff push.
It's a Tom Thibodeau team, Dave. He's going to get real minutes. He'll get 40 a night sometimes.
Well,
those knees ain't going to think they're real minutes.
Rookie, though, so he should be getting about 6 a night tops.
Yeah, but he plays like a veteran, though, Dave. Tom doesn't know what to think. He's a veteran, but he's a rookie.
That's what I'm saying. Like, this Knicks, like, I'm looking at the Knicks side and going, I don't know if there's a better like this could be the best possible outcome you could have wished for.
Mm-hmm.
We don't even know what's going to happen by 2023. We know this year's pick obviously will be decent. It's not going to be perfect, but it won't be, pick 28, 30, anywhere in that range. So like I look at that side and I'm like, damn, they did really well with that money and that draft capital so far.
Yeah.
And I'm looking at the Mavs, I'm going like, THA is not bad. It's not great. He's not going to push us over the edge, but he's not going to win a ton of games kind of thing. And the guy who's supposed to be the guy.
I mean,
is he the guy?
I got Dallas's spot rack in front of me. Before I go into that, an interesting stat that I read today, it says mildly interesting stat. Luka hasn't recorded a triple-double in his last 17 games. The last one he had was over a month ago. He had 9 triple-doubles this season before this stretch. Like, some people are going to say, but Ricky, triple-doubles are like, unless you're Russell Westbrook.
Are we talking the Russell Westbrook metric of triple-doubles here?
Like
the man who's about to break a record this year?
Dave, I will say this. Yeah. Russell Westbrook gets so many triple-doubles that if you're like betting like individual stats on players, if you're trying to bet usually 10 assists, 10 rebounds on a player, you're like, dude, I'm getting plus odds for that. No, you have to bet like 14 plus for Russ for it to even be like, oh, that'll pay out something. It'll pay out more than 2 cents.
Generational talent. We're witnessing one of the best players of all time, and they give him shit because they think he's just a stat hunter. It's like, no, he's legitimately one of the best players of all time.
Yeah. But looking at the spot rack, I mean, this year, THJ is coming, like he's the big contract coming off the books. So that's going to be about 18.9, almost 19 mil off the books. You got JJ Redick, another 13 that they traded for this year. And then RFA's Nico Melli, Tyler Bay and Hinton doesn't have a contract for it, just says RFA next year. And then Boban at 3.5 million. Like, the thing with the Mavericks that I don't know is, all right, Luka's contract year is next year. He's not leaving. You're maxing him. Like, even if another team maxes him, you're matching it. Like, he's staying. Kristaps is under contract until 2024 because I don't think he's going to let, if the injuries can like keep up, he's not rejecting that player out. Is there anything, like we've talked about free agency? You mentioned like a couple podcasts ago when we talked about the NBA that you're like all these, I think it was the Bulls one, you're like all the free agents that we thought was going to be out this year are kind of looking like, hey, they're just going to stay put. We're going to stay with our team. Is there anything the Mavs can do then this offseason in free agency, or is it they have to try to finagle a trade, or is that even the right choice? Like, I look at this roster and I go, what can you do? Because obviously you want to try to win now because Luka's that good now.
Yeah, I mean, that is the ultimate frustration. Do you have the patience to wait out KP's injuries?
Yeah.
Because it's not like anyone has a high value for Kristaps Porzingis because he's always injured. So I don't know if any team would value him more than you would. I don't know what you could flip him for. I don't know if the value is there.
I don't know if anyone would want him.
And no, teams would want him. It's just for his value. Like, what are you going to get back? He's not a dump contract yet, but he's not far off. If we're being blunt, he's not. So my concern is timeline. You're talking about we want to win a championship with Luka Doncic. I'm going, nobody that young has won a championship in a very, 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 very long time being the best player on their team, i.e. Magic Johnson. Even that was arguable. So when I look at this situation, I get why they want to pair up their two young European talents, but I think that this should be a situation where, DeMar DeRozan is arguably the best name in free agency. Does he work? Could he work well with Luka, or do you see too much overlap there? I don't know that I would want, as much as this sounds dumb to say, I think DeMar DeRozan would not be an excellent fit next to Luka Doncic. I don't see that working well because he's not a complementary piece to Luka. You're looking for wing defenders, you're looking for 3-and-D players, you're looking for shooters, and you're looking for someone who could take a larger step forward with high volume, kind of open on that Jeremy Grant vibe, and who could thrive in a situation. Even Julius Randle, same thing. Situationally, he got put into a place to thrive because there's opportunity there. Where is that for this team? I don't know. Like,
and obviously I have this sorted by contract value, so obviously I'm looking at the guys who are paid the most. Like, obviously, I agree with you. DeMar DeRozan, I thought about it for a second, like, oh, DeMar DeRozan, but then I'm like, no, it ain't going to work. Like, the top free agents, Chris Paul, if he doesn't accept his player out, but I don't think, like, you don't want a player like Chris Paul next to Luka. Mike Conley, same thing. Kyle Lowry.
What? I think all three of those guys would be great next to
So you're
Luka.
saying they would be the point guard. Luka can then move to like the scoring 2?
I mean, he doesn't even play point guard anyway. Like
I'm just thinking like ball handler. Like, does Luka have to be the main ball handler?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. He's always going to be a fucking main ball.
Yeah.
But there's nothing wrong, as the Brooklyn Nets and other teams have taught, nothing wrong with having multiple guys who can handle the ball.
Good point.
That's not a negative.
Good
the problem
point.
is when those guys are so pinholed in, like DeMar DeRozan's worked on his passing game so much, but he's still ultimately a negative on the defensive side. Great facilitator now. He's worked so hard on that. But like his play style has changed the way that you have to play around him. I don't know that he would fit into that Luka Doncic style offense. And I think I would look for someone who's more complementary to him. Like you said, Mike Conley would be great because he's a defender. Kyle Lowry, same thing.
Yeah.
Chris Paul, same thing. But like, why would any of those guys come down to Dallas?
Yeah. You know who'd be a great addition like 4 years ago? Otto Porter Jr. Like, I see Otto Porter on there, and I go, like, I want to say it'd be a good addition because 3-and-D. That's why the Bulls traded for Otto Porter. But the thing with Otto Porter Jr. that I have a question mark is we already have Kristaps who's injured. Are we just going to sign Otto Porter? It's just going to be like, well, his back won't hold up.
It's the same thing. Do you think you can fix him? Do you think that if you can get him for a steal because he's been hurt for the last 2 years?
Yeah.
Could you be in a situation where you're in a plus window for that? Like, as far as the point guard position, Ricky, I mean, you have to just take the obvious one, throw the dart, and say, Goran Dragic. Are they going for the full Euro lineup here?
I mean,
would Goran leave?
He ain't coming back to Miami. They're going to go Vic over Goran, I think.
100%.
Yeah, they're going to try to keep Vic at all costs.
I think Goran Dragic is someone who is crafty, who has great handles, who's always been a great shooter.
Who's going to be 36
would be an excellent
next
compliment.
year.
Yeah, I think it would be a great complimentary piece. So like he's the guy who, if I'm saying there as the Mavs, I would target Goran as my number one hit in free agency. See what the market is for him. See what the value is. I mean, that one's super interesting to me because I like the idea, but I'm not 100% that he wouldn't take a mass discount to stay in Miami. You're saying they'd choose Vic over, and I'm going, would he take the fucking, the special there
to stay in Miami?
And, a couple $1 million contract to stay in Miami and compete for a championship?
I mean, that's a Goran decision.
Yeah, I don't know him.
Yeah.
I'm tossing out ideas.
Like I'm talking from Miami's standpoint.
Sure.
They're gonna do whatever. In my mind, they're gonna do whatever they have to keep Oladipo. Because like I'm looking at this list, and it's like the guys that I like are all offensive guys. Like Evan Fournier, more of offense than defensive. Yeah. Danny Green too. Sure. Like I'm like those would be not bad additions. Kelly Oubre if he can shoot well, but like there are guys here shot in the darks. Like one. And I'm gonna say no, Will Barton. He's taking that player out.
The thrill.
Yeah,
Barton.
But here's one that's not a guard, not a wing. Well, can kind of be a wing, but he's more of a 4. Do they take a swing at like a Kelly O, like a position of like if Kristaps is out, Kelly O then can step up and give us something at the 4, kind of as like a backup plan for when Kristaps is injured.
He's kind of killing it down there at the Rockets.
That's why I bring it up because he ain't staying with Houston. I wouldn't. I'd get far away from that franchise as possible.
Why? They're about to land a top pick.
Full rebuild. That's the thing.
They already have, Ricky. What? They're at the bottom. I don't think they're going to be worse than this. I think they're going to land Kate Cunningham. Yeah. And you have Kate Cunningham, Kevin Porter Jr., Christian Wood, John Wall, Kelly O, Jayshawn Tate, KJ Martin. Like, that's a team. They're not going to be a top contender. They're not a bad team anymore.
Add
in a top 4 talent in this draft class, and I'm not running away from this team anymore.
I don't know. Houston scares me because of
where are you going to get bigger numbers than in the Houston offense.
Well, the thing is with Houston too is I worry like everything you said is great, but will they be a situation of like on paper on this right here? Oh, they should be great, but they're just not.
Great. Not shit. But I think volume-wise, I don't know if he'll find a better situation. I agree. Kelly O offensively would thrive on the Mavs as well.
Yeah.
I will agree to that. Yes. I think that he could get a lot of money from the Rockets because they're in a situation where as long as they're under the cap, they're cool with whatever. Like that is the cheap ownership situation. I've got a name for you though.
Go ahead, hit me.
And I know you're gonna love this one. Tony Snell.
I thought about it.
I'm talking about one of the best shooters in the NBA.
I thought about it. I looked at his name.
Ricky.
What?
One of the best shooters in the NBA, Tony Snell.
One of the best. Not better than Seth Curry, man. Seth Curry, best Curry.
Statistically, he might be better than Seth Curry this year.
Maybe, yeah.
No, he actually is.
I know.
I'm just saying, he's not been playing 40 minutes a night, but he is shooting hilariously well on an Atlanta team where you have another great facilitator in Trae Young.
Yeah.
I know he's not perfect, but like that's the thing. You're gonna have to find the right pieces around these guys. And like I will gush about Tyrell Terry on this roster, but like he's so far from NBA ready. I fully acknowledge that. Like I want him to be there. He's just not there yet. So like you have to start digging deeper for like where can we find these like very narrow skill set guys to fit the system around Luka.
So I got a question.
Yeah.
Should they make I mean, yet again, this is a 4. This
European.
Is a 4.
No, just draft Europeans ever. Put Europeans.
This guy's technically a Euro. He played college in America, but he's technically a Euro. Lauri Markkanen. Do they take a swing at Lauri Markkanen? If the Bulls are like, no.
Yes. Yes, 100 times over, Ricky. The floor spacing of Lauri Markkanen and their coach is not as dumb as to put Lowry in the corner and tell him to stand still.
Ricardo, Billy Donovan, Jim Boylan. Jim Boylan.
So far into the ground, it doesn't even show. Ricky.
Let me get my shovel. We're not there yet.
No, I mean, like, Nicole Melli has been doing, he had some games where he looked like, okay, this is what a shooting forward looked like for us. And they like that. So I think that there's a situation where they would absolutely throw money at Lauri Markkanen. And I don't know how many teams in the league will do that this offseason. But I think he truly would fit well as a great floor spacer out there with Luka. Yeah, 100%.
So,
and obviously, like, it's an insurance policy to KP. If you can get him for $14 million a year, why not?
Yeah,
100%. If he's looking for closer to 20, then I think we get in that questionable area because THJ could re-sign with them for a little less money. It's not a foregone conclusion that he's leaving their team, but at the same time, like, is he the best option for them, or would they rather go a different direction?
And the other thing you have to deal with when it comes to Lauri Markkanen is AK can be, because I'm going to start saying AK because Jake brought something. Well, Jake brought something up to my attention to where he said he finds it funny that Bulls fans say AKME when he's like, Mark Eversley did nothing in Philly. So AKME, but really AK.
I don't know if he did or didn't.
Like Kornashovas, he could be a tricky one of like, oh, you really want him. You offered him a contract, I see. RFA match, and now if you want him, we're going to have to trade him. Like to try to get something. Yeah. Like, I don't think the Mavs would be like, well, no, we have to trade for him. Now, it's going to be a little different. The other two, yet again, I think this could be an offseason where the Mavericks aren't going for things that fill holes that they don't have. It could be a free agency where, hey, we go after if Porzingis is injured, how do we fill in that hole when he's not there? Because I'm just going to throw out these names. Enes Kanter and Rashawn Holmes, both free agents. Rashawn Holmes, before he was injured, playing very well with the Kings.
Oh, Rashawn Holmes was excellent.
Yeah.
Would love to see him out there on a team that's not going to put out a shit product next to him.
Or get injured year after year after year.
No, I love the idea of Rashawn Holmes being out there. He would be an excellent fit in this offense. He does a little bit of everything. Extreme high energy guy, bouncy, gets you boards.
Yeah.
Out of the post. I think he'd be a perfect pairing. And you could play him with KP on the floor at the same time, too.
You can play them together. You can play like him and Kleber, him and Powell. Yeah. Like he can match up 4 or 5. Agree.
I mean, I'm looking, you want to talk about other guys who could be free. I mean, obviously, Sacramento went out and grabbed Terrence Davis at the end. He'll be available. But also, a little bit further north of Sacramento, you got Portland. who has a guy, Norm Powell. Again,
He's got a
high
player
score.
op. He's got a player op though. Is he going to elect to stay?
He's going to make $20 million a year.
Okay, good point. Good point.
He's going to get $20 million a year.
Lawyered.
I'm not saying they're going to get Gary Trent Jr. and try to outmatch what's going to come from the Raptors, because that's not happening. But I do think that one is potentially out there for them.
Mm-hmm.
It's I could see them try to attack that position. I love the idea of just trying to find someone who is force somebody's hand on something, because I'm already looking at the Lakers, who are so we've got to pay for THT.
Dennis Schroeder is going to be a free agent.
Dennis Schroeder is going to be a free agent, and Alex Caruso is going to be a free agent. All three of those guys.
Alex Caruso went to school in Texas A&M guy.
I would love any one of those three as additions to this team. Am I addressing the real problem here on the Mavs?
No,
not really, because the problem is the contracting Kristaps Porzingis,
which is not getting moved.
I can't draft a doctor or pay a doctor in free agency to come magically fix him and keep him healthy. This isn't 2007 when he can send him to Germany for a year.
I was going to say, are we just going to send him to Germany
when he gets back? That doesn't exist anymore.
Get those.
The testing does not exist anymore to make that happen. So, unfortunately, they're going to have to go ahead and try to find supplementary pieces. But it's just they have to be smart with these deals. There's no rush.
Yeah,
Luka is still on the final. He'll have one more year on his rookie deal anyway. So, and that's the thing to keep in mind. Yeah. It just puts them in an awkward situation, because we thought that they would be this tandem was going to be so good.
Well, and maybe we're missing the point where maybe it doesn't this year doesn't matter, next year doesn't matter, because even when they sign Luka to that max deal, they still have him and Kristaps on max deals. They still have that room for that third. It's just what free agency year are they going to find that third to make their big three that everyone's always searching for?
Yep. What if it's Zach LaVine? Fuck us, right?
I mean, if the Bulls are, we talked about it. If the Bulls are a trash team next year, ring, ring. What do you want for Zach LaVine? Because we're going to have to trade him. This is what, that's another thing. Could be Zach next year. They could just find their guy. It's just closer to that contract.
Westbrook. Could be Chris Paul. Could be any of those aging guys,
Yeah. I mean, I think time will tell with the Mavericks, but the most important thing this year is make the playoffs.
I got one. Spicy one. Brandon Ingram. There's been a whole lot of talk.
The Pelicans would move on from him?
There's been a lot of talk about Brandon Ingram not being the guy. They're still going to max him. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
They're going to max him. It's the idea. Yeah. It's the idea of in a year, will he be traded or something like that? Because they think long-term fit-wise, him and Zion will not work together. I've heard so much rumors around it, so many fans talking about it back and forth both ways. I mean, it just feels like he's not long-term staying in New Orleans.
Yeah, he's already he's already got his max.
Yep.
So
that was his past offseason, right?
Yeah, he's under contract till I think 2026. Let me see, because it won't. Spotrac won't even let me scroll that far. After the 2025 season. Wow, his deal doesn't even have a player op at the end of it, Dave.
Yep.
It's so weird. Usually I'm used to there's a player op at the end.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's locked down until 2025.
He just signed last offseason.
That's interesting. Because he's playing well.
Oh yeah, there's nothing wrong with him.
Yeah.
The problem is the fit next to Zion.
Yeah, and Zion's the cash cow there. Zion ain't going nowhere.
Yeah, you can play around Zion. I get you.
But last thing we're going to talk about, Dave, is we got a little draft to talk about. What we're doing is we're going team by team down the order to talk about the best fits for the individual teams. We've done a lot of them. Check out our YouTube page, MVP Sports, for the ones that we have done already. And Dave, it is time to look at the Great White North, and it is the Toronto Raptors, or today,
Tampa Bay
Raptors, as they are in Tampa Bay this season. Upcoming this free agency, Kyle Lowry is set to be an unrestricted free agent. Gary Trent Jr. will be an RFA. You have Rodney Hood could be a free agent because he's got dead non-guaranteed money next year. Stanley Johnson is a UFA. You've got Birch as a UFA, and the Baines train has our non-guaranteed money next year. How we do this is we see where would they be. We start with the top one. So, Dave, I'm going to ask you, has it changed? Is Cade Cunningham the pick if they get the number one pick?
Still Cade. I just
Still
checked.
Cade. Still, it's obviously
Slap it
Cade.
along.
Like, bye Kyle Lowry, hello Cade Cunningham.
Yeah.
Like, this is a Zion situation here where it's like, not much to talk about. We move on to the next one. What if they're top, fuck it, we'll say top 4. What if they're 2, 3, or 4? Does it change depending on who's there? Because usually for most people, it's then Mobley, Suggs, and JG4 are the next 3 in line.
You just got the order wrong.
Yeah, I know. Not in the right order. I just
JG4 would be excellent on this team. JG4 would be the guy on this team, and I would love to see that. I think their prio order would be JG4, Suggs, Mobley. And I know that sounds hilarious because they're a team who needs a big so fucking badly. But if they think that Lowry is gone, then they're probably looking for a creator. And I think Suggs is one of those guys who's like, he's a can't miss guard. You know, he's been comped to Drew Holiday. He's got two-way playability. He's not a guy who's going to drop 40 a night, but he's a guy who's going to do all the right things and play on both sides of the ball. So it's pretty important. I think the center position, they'll find a piece in this offseason, you know, if they have to, or they'll find them later in the draft. I mean, we've seen centers go in the second round and contribute at a high level. So
see, I'm on the other side. JG4 would be amazing. He's like, if they're number 2, I'm leaning towards JG4 just because of the potential. But if they're at 3 and JG4 is off the board, I'm going with Evan Mobley before I go with Suggs. And the reason why is that front court depth that you kind of hit, because the backcourt depth, good. Front court depth, not so good. And the things that Mobley can do, especially with screening, I think about that with Gary Trent and our Dad Van Vliet on the outside, like setting up screens, them hitting threes. They'll be amazing. And the other thing I realized with Suggs, and yet again, some people say Ricky, he's not the future, but Malachi Flynn hasn't looked bad this season, as if you're looking backup point guard. Has not looked bad early on, had to get a little adjusted to the NBA. Lately, he's not looking terrible. He's not white trash. He's not Nico Mannion, Dave.
Okay.
Dave's like, Dave's sitting there biting his tongue. I see it. You got the teeth marks on your tongue. Let it loose, Dave. You disagree. You disagree.
I don't think Malachi Flynn's anything special. I literally would not pass up on anything from Malachi Flynn.
But do you think the potential in Suggs is that much better than Mobley? Because to me, I think Mobley.
If anything, I think his floor is higher. I think Jalen Suggs' floor is higher than Mobley's. I think Mobley has everything it takes to be like, literally, we joked around the next Chris Bosh. You know, wouldn't that be great for Toronto to have another one of those? But who plays defense? Like that's how good he could be. I'm just concerned with the fact that they're going to be. If there's one position in the NBA you can't afford to not have, it's a point guard. I mean, as a Bulls fan, I feel very strongly about saying that.
So then you just don't have confidence in Dad Van Vliet being that point guard.
He's a shooting guard.
Okay. Like, I mean,
his height is the problem, but he's a shooting guard.
So if they go Jalen Suggs, is it and this isn't me like bashing on anything, I'm just trying to think their starting lineup would be what? Suggs at the 1, Fred Van Vliet at the 2. Would then Gary Trent play the 3, or would he go to the bench?
No, Gary Trent would be the 3. You got fucking probably OG would be on the bench, or I mean that's probably what would happen, or Gary Trent to the bench as a ball handler.
That's what I was
thinking. OG can be the defense in the starting lineup, and then off the bench you have GTR, Gary Trent Jr. GTJ. I hear GTR way more often. Go JTR. Nope, GTR.
I'm just saying it would be like if we're doing that.
Yeah, but people say GTR. I don't know why, but you're right. On Reddit, it is GTR.
Okay. Is it because Gran Turismo Racing? Like we're just used to it? GTR?
Yeah, I guess so.
Something like that. Or is that like an oil brand? I know there's like GT that's something with an oil brand, but like, yeah, I mean this is honestly a debate though, like Suggs and Mobley, because none of us are wrong. Either one would help them. It's just where do you like, for me, it would depend on, and this is what I hate about the NBA that I love about the NFL. Free agency comes after the draft. So like for me, if I'm the Raptors, it depends on a couple things. Number one, how confident are you that you're going to want to, and yet again, I know the answer. Don't come after me, comment section. But like, if they're sitting there going, "Nah, we're not gonna keep Gary Trent," or if an offer comes in and they're like, "Oh fuck, we don't want to pay that much for him," like something could happen because he's an RFA. I think they match whatever comes in. That's the thing. He is staying in Toronto, but yet again, you don't know for sure what's going to happen. And then also, it's like you could plan to target guys in free agency to fill some of your depth in the front court. But if they're UFAs, they've got the choice on their own. Like they could target any of the guys that we mentioned, a Enes Kanter, a Holmes. Like they could say, "Oh, we're going to do all this stuff, get these guys," and they could just be blindsided. How many times have we seen free agents go, "Oh, they're going to sign here. Oh, wait, what? He signed over here? What's that about?" So like,
yeah. The other question is Kyle Lowry. Do you feel like you're going to re-sign Kyle Lowry? Because that's the biggest question. The fact that did they really just not trade him out of spite?
I don't know.
That's what I have a hard time believing, Ricky. That is the only thing I'm going. I don't know that he's gone.
So
I don't know that Kyle Lowry's gone, which means I think that Mobley might have the edge on as far as their priority pick.
You're right. That's another thing. If Kyle Lowry stays, you're not taking Suggs.
Nope.
There's no way you're taking Suggs. But like,
no, he would be perfect. It would be like the Chris Paul situation in Tyrese Halliburton. You would love to have someone like that you could learn under. So it's fucked up and didn't do that.
Yeah, if I'm going to take out my crystal ball, though, give it a good old shake and tell you what I think, I would put my money on the fact that they were in talks with Philly to trade Kyle Lowry, and Daryl Morey probably decided throughout talks right up to the deadline of, is it smart to trade for a guy who is a unrestricted free agent? Like, yeah, they could sign to keep him, but what if it doesn't work out and they don't win a championship because of what the Nets are this year? And then they decide, oh, we're going to let Kyle Lowry walk. Then it could be, well, why did we give up all this just to rent him for this year? Was the cost way too more than what the reward would be? And how close would you get to that ultimate reward of winning a title for if you're Philly? That's where I think it came in. It wasn't Toronto wanted to keep him. I think it was on the other side. Philly didn't want to give up what they would have had to get Kyle Lowry.
What do you have to give up for a guy who's literally going to be done playing for that team in 2 months?
Yeah, exactly.
And that's the crazy thing. Exactly. If Toronto holds him that close and would rather take nothing than take something, that tells you something about where they think his future is. Because it's not like Philly didn't make counter offers, I'm sure. Yeah. I'm sure the offer wasn't everything or nothing. It was probably around the lines of a late one, Tyrese Maxey, Mike Scott, somewhere in that area. So with that being said, would you rather have Tyrese Maxey in a late one or have Kyle Lowry walk in free agency? Yeah, I'm sorry, that seems like they're under an impression that they're going to keep him.
Yeah, I mean, speaking to Jake about the Sixers, because he is the Sixers fan, I believe he has said multiple times that Doc Rivers really likes Tyrese Maxey. And that could have been another thing. Daryl Morey, like, we don't know the ins and outs. Would have loved to have been a fly on the wall in those talks. But yet again, you're right. If they keep Kyle Lowry, no way they're taking Suggs. What if they're outside the top four? That's really the next thing. Outside,
they stay right around that same range of 8, 9, 10, 7, 8, 9, 10.
So with how it works is right now they are, like, if they don't get top four, they are right now the 9th seed. Or the 9th pick. The lowest they can move down is obviously 4 spots. So if they stay between 9, 10, 11, or 12, who are you targeting there if you're the Toronto Raptors?
Yeah, if I'm the Raptors, you'd likely think, okay, is there a BPA center on the board? For me, it would be Sengun. I don't know if he'll be there. And I don't know if they would agree with me on that. I don't know if he's the ideal fit. The problem is this roster has an incredible wing defender in OG Anunoby. They've got potentially a budding, wing player in GTR. They've got Dead, but it comes down to that C-SCAN problem.
Yeah.
Who is he? What's his identity? And how does he fit with this team going forward? Because if you think he's still an integral part of this team, I would probably pass up on, someone like Jalen Johnson who might be falling through that area. I think in a lot of people's boards, we know he has talent, but would they take someone who has, some flags up there?
Yeah.
Would they love to take someone raw? Great. Keon Johnson would probably be there for them. Don't love Keon Johnson, but they could. Like, that's the thing.
So the thing with Keon Johnson, it was put in our Discord, he did come out with a statement that he is not declaring for the draft. Unless
he is not?
change. He is not. I'm going to pull up the exact tweet because our boy JD put it in the Discord. And the phrasing of it. So the first thing he put out was on Instagram, and it said, Florida basketball, thank you for the prayers and concern.
Florida?
Yeah, Florida.
Keon plays for the Tennessee Bulls.
I'm thinking Keontae. My bad. Go ahead. I'm thinking Keontae.
That's very confused.
I mixed the two up in my head. Like I heard Keon, and I was like, my brain went Keontae. That was my fault, Dave. Go ahead, Keon. I mixed the two. I mixed the two names.
Keontae Johnson's got some medical concerns.
Yeah.
Nothing's been cleared.
Keontae Johnson is staying. It sounds like he's staying at Florida. Keon Johnson in the draft. Go ahead. I'm sorry for that.
Yeah. Keon Johnson is that raw prospect that this team in Toronto loves to develop. They love to take guys and mold them. So, like, I could see why people would think that. I just don't know if he would be the best fit for them or the best player available in my mind. I would love to see them go with someone who is maybe rising on my boards, and Isaiah Jackson.
So rising on the boards, Dave. Maybe.
I've been watching a little more highlights. I think Kai Jones is still potentially the second best upside as far as centers go in this draft.
Yeah.
But Jackson does have something to his game.
Because, like, your bigs right now, Evan Mobley, top 4, he'd be off the board.
Yes.
Scotty Barnes, more of a 4, he's in the top 7. Segun's a top 10.
My mind, yep.
Day'Ron Sharp and Kai Jones, most people have them top 20. And then right now, Isaiah Jackson, I'm looking at Tankathon, they have him at 22 on the big board.
Yeah, I think Isaiah Jackson over Day'Ron Sharp, he's a more well-rounded player.
Yeah.
Much better rounded. I think Sharp is just good for bounce and boards and energy. I think Isaiah Jackson brings a little bit something extra to the table. I like his upside more. I think he is somebody who could be a big man in the NBA for the next 10 years. I really like his game. So I think that he's someone who, as the draft gets closer, I could see him rising up people's boards. And that would be like kind of a smart pick for the Raptors.
Yeah.
One thing that I almost, question is, like, do you feel they're, and I know we always talk I always preach BPA over fit. Yeah. Do you think this is a situation where, because this is such a wing heavy draft, would they take another wing after having, like we just talked, Pascal, OG, Van Vliet, and GTR on that roster right now? Do you think that they would take someone who yet another wing? Do they need that scoring push at like a book night? Do they need someone like Moses Moody, who gives me vibes of GTR? To be fair, like,
so
they're not the same player, but
the things I was thinking, you were throwing out a lot of bigs. I was thinking we were talking about we were talking about the Kyle Lowry situation.
Yeah,
we'll put that into put that into effect if they're here at 9. Like, you've got, I'm looking at the top guards and 3.
I would just say Giddey then, if he's on the board.
I thought about it. Like, Giddey would be, like, but guys that I could see them going with if it's not a big, and maybe not, because, like, I don't see him going with Kispert. I don't see him going Franz Wagner. If Moses Moody's there, I could see them falling in love with a Moses Moody. A book night would be interesting, but I don't know if I go with him. I think that for me, the 3 would be Moses Moody if they love him. Jared Butler would be in the discussion, because if Kyle Lowry is leaving, then you can add a point guard that brings some defense to the table as well.
I do like that.
Giddey's obviously up there also. And then maybe maybe a Duarte, but I'd probably say Giddey, Moses,
high
and
for him.
Butler. I know. I'm saying Moses, Butler, and Giddey. No, I'm just saying, like, out of the next point guards, it's either Duarte and Davion Mitchell, and I think I like Duarte better than Mitchell right now. But I'm not saying they draft him at 9.
Do you hate Springer?
I haven't been a fan of Springer the whole time. You know my thoughts on Springer. I think he's a Kobe White 2.0. He's a combo guard he's going to get to the NBA and we're going to be like, wow, he's a scorer. Like, that's what he's going to be. That's what I see. I see whoever drafting him, they will have the same problems that Kobe White has, to where it's just like he's a scorer. He's not the exact same player, but he's more of a shooting guard to me than a point guard.
But you think Chris is more of a point guard than he is, which
I mean, I'm just saying, like, next in line. Like, my top three, like I said, Moses, Butler, Giddey. That's all that matters. Because after three,
I agree that Butler would probably be the. I don't know.
Because like
Butler, I love.
Because
I love the idea that he brings defense, which again you'd lose with Lowry out.
Mm-hmm.
It's like you're not going to recoup 100% there, but it's a younger prospect who plays defense, who's a smart player, who's played in big minutes in big games already in his career. So like, I think he would fit in well in this team. I don't know.
Let's play this game. So I simulated a lottery to where the Raptors either stayed at 9 or got bounced back. They stayed at 9. We're going to kind of go through this to kind of determine, okay, who will be there for them based on this draft order. Number 1, Cavaliers, Cade.
Yep.
Number 2, Sacramento. Who would you take at 2?
JG4, so I can trade Buddy Hield.
So JG4 is off the board also. Orlando at 3, their own pick.
I mean, Jalen Suggs is there. They're going to would they take Mobley with all their bigs? Would you do it?
Motherfucking Mo.
Would you take Mobley as Orlando at 3?
I would
Or would you trade back?
I would probably go with because here's the thing. How high are they on Cole Anthony?
I'm not high on Cole Anthony.
How high are they? Because they also got Markelle Fultz coming back from injury.
It's Markelle Fultz coming back.
So I would probably go Mobley.
Okay.
Yeah.
So take Mobley there.
Because
it's fine.
I mean, Markel's going to be your starting 1, right?
You hope so.
Yeah. I mean, and then Houston at 4. So we've got Cade, JG4, Mobley.
Suggs is. I almost wanted to say flip that. I think Suggs would go before him.
The point being, both Suggs and Mobley are now off the board at top 4. Right. Number 5, the Warriors via the T-Wolves. Are they going Kuminga?
I want to say Scotty Barnes so bad.
Then we'll say Scotty Barnes. Scotty Barnes
because
off the board.
Draymond replays. That's the guy you want to learn under Draymond. But at the same time, like Wiggins into Kuminga.
Here's what we're gonna do, Dave. Yep. Here's what we're gonna do.
No. Let's continue.
I'm taking this from the Hammer Don guys. So Kuminga will be heads. Barnes will be tails. The virtual coin flips and says heads. They will go with Kuminga at 5. So Kuminga's off the board. At 6, the Detroit Pistons.
Pistons will probably want.
They're moving back 3 spots. Not ideal if you're a Pistons fan.
No.
Not ideal if you're a Pistons fan.
In fact, the opposite. If I'm the Pistons, I would look Giddey here.
Okay.
I would go to Giddey.
So Giddey's off the board.
That
was one of the
I'm
guys
not 110% sold on their point guard situation, but you can't hurt by having another shooting guy with size and passing. Yeah.
Also, not an ideal situation for the Oklahoma City Thunder. They move back 2 spots. They don't get Houston's pick. Who would they take at 7? Just BPA. Just straight.
OKC.
Is this a Jalen Johnson pick for Dave because he likes him?
Sengun.
Okay. So Giddey and Sengun, 2 guys we've talked about for the Raptors, are now off the board.
The problem is they like young and athletic, and I don't. He's young, but he's not athletic.
Yeah. Here's
You're right. They might go Jalen Johnson or Scotty Barnes. God damn it!
And here's the reason why at 3 I wanted the Magic to go with Mobley. Yeah. The Magic are also at 8 via the Bulls, and you have a point guard. You can go with a point guard here if you want to, or a guard. You can go Keon Johnson if you want to, Dave.
I don't want Keon Johnson. I do not want.
They can go Moody, Book Night. Like you can go Jaden Springer if you want. That's the guy who I meant to say because I trashed.
I might go Springer.
Okay.
The problem is My big board tells me it's Barnes.
Yeah.
But they would not take Barnes
Yeah.
because you can't do that. You can't they've already so much fucking
Especially
talent.
if they took Mobley at 3.
Exactly. They've got too much front court talent. They need backcourt help now. I would consider going with a Springer at this point. If you think he's a combo guard, then you're in luck because guess what? You got Markelle Fultz, you've got Cole Anthony. Yeah, it's tough for me, but I think I would go Jaden Springer here.
So that means at 9, we've solidified it. That means at 9, the top guys, and I don't know how this reflects on your big board, Dave. I'm just going down Tankathon. Jalen Johnson, Corey Kispert, Franz Wagner, Moses Moody, Book Knight, Keon Johnson, Jared Butler.
Isn't Barnes?
Oh, Barnes is number 2. It's Johnson, Barnes. I forgot we didn't have him go to the Warriors. So it's Johnson, Barnes, Kispert, Wagner, Moody, Book Knight, Keon Johnson, Jared Butler. Is it Barnes?
I would
BPA?
probably go Barnes here.
Yeah, it's just BPA.
I don't hate or love Pascal Siakam. I would go Barnes here and see what we've got going for the future because his contract's not terrible. If you are committed to him for that time, that you're fine. See how it plays out. The problem is you've got to find your number 1, you know? And I don't think they have yet. I think Gary Trent Jr. has got a lot of shots up because he's just got the green light. Van Vliet's an excellent complementary piece. OG is not an offensive takeover machine. He is the complementary piece as well. It's like they've got all these guys, but they need that star to step in. And I think you take the chance on Barnes finding his shot and learning to play in a more spread out NBA style offense rather than, what he had to deal with in college. And again, let's be honest, the hit rate for Florida State players as of late,
Pretty good.
We're feeling it.
Except Dave, Bulls fans want the Paw to shoot 12 to 14 shots a game.
That's me. I said that.
The comment section said it too. That's why I brought it up.
I'm trying to use my own words against it. It's in Discord before them. It's in my video before them.
The last thing I will ask you because Scotty Barnes, if he's there, I know it's only 2 spots on most big boards. If he's there at 9, he's the pick.
Me. But I would have to say so.
I know we just did it, and it's like, well, Ricky, you said he's going to fall there. But they got 2 seconds. That's what I was going to ask you next. Who are some guys they would look at in the second? Because I'm going to become a broken record, Dave. Depending on how things match out, I don't think they're going to be in the rounds for this guy, but if they want to use one of those seconds, both of them to trade up, a Naminas Queta would be really good for them. Now Queta's in the first round all of a sudden, so I don't think they're going to have the opportunity to draft
Ricky,
him.
it's the second round. Should they go after Charles Bassey?
Dude, Charles Bassey's a beast, bro!
He's potentially the best center in this class.
2015 first round pick, baby. That wasn't even the right draft, but he's that old.
But it doesn't matter. He's not there. We're not even. No.
Like, these are just obviously shots in the dark, though.
Yeah. As far as talent goes in the second round, what would a team like this be aiming for? I would love to see them. I mean, we're on very different points as far as where Isaiah Todd would be available. I think it goes late 1. You say he's a second rounder. If he's in there in the second round, take Isaiah Todd here.
Yeah,
heartbeat.
Exactly.
This is a perfect developmental pick for them. Second guy, Trenton Wofford. You want buckets off the bench? Look at what Naz Reid's doing in the NBA. He is a fucking menace on the offensive side.
Shout out
Sean. I will continue to make fun of his lack of fucking jump. He has none of it. His defense is a joke, but he is an offensive machine, Ricky. So Trenton Walker has an it factor to his game, and he has you're starting to see he had about maybe 7 performances this year that were that could be the start of something right now. I love the idea of him going to this Raptors team.
Some guys that I like. There's one, McKinley Wright the fourth out of Colorado.
Okay.
Quentin Grimes could be an interesting pick. Also, David Johnson out of Louisville.
I have David Johnson down. Where do you think he where do you think play wise he ends up? Is he a 1? Is he a 2? Is he a guy you want ball in hand?
See, the thing is, I don't know because I think he's gonna be somebody that you draft and it's like, okay, I want to see how you do. He might play in the G League the first year.
100%.
Majority of the G League.
I would say so, yeah.
He's one that I haven't gotten a gauge on yet. I will say.
Okay.
But like,
Because that's
the thing I'm
I've got
thinking
him and
is
David Duke very close
Yeah.
on my big board,
yeah.
and I don't really know yet where I'm gonna go. They're very close.
The one that I'm going to ask you about, and this is only for the 45th or 46th pick.
Okay.
Because he's going to be there. I don't think he gets taken above 45. We talked about front court depth. Do they take I'd say massive swing, because I think he's in the bottom 10 picks of the draft. Do they take a swing at Luka Garza? A guy who's a leader, a guy who would be a good teammate on that team. We just don't know if he's going to be an actual NBA pro or just hey, he was really good in college, but he's not good enough to be a pro.
Yeah, I would lean away from that.
Okay.
I don't think. I mean, they
would you take him over Charles Bassey though?
Yes, I would. Yes, I 112% would. Yeah, no, I don't think they do. I don't think they pull the trigger on that. I think they're more likely to take a shot at someone. Again, I'm thinking a more raw product, but interesting, like a Zvi Pons. If Tennessee, if he's there, like he's someone who don't know. I can't tell you outside of his defense and hustle what he excels at.
Yeah,
but there might be something there. Like it's the idea of like we can work with him to get him to a NBA level contributor on the court, and that's the thing that interests me about that. Like, I think this is completely in the like, let's take a shot in the dark at a developmental prospect, especially with their timeline now realizing how far away. Like,
would they take 2 shots or would they trade up and take 1 shot?
I would prefer, like, they're also very good as far as undrafted free agents, as we know. Yeah. The other guy who I would say is, depending on where he's at, depending on where he's going, Greg Brown. He's an athlete. Yes. He is just an athlete. He's a slashing machine.
And if you're looking at maybe first rounder, like weren't we talking about him first round, like way back in the 1.0s?
Yeah. Early in the season, that Texas team, you were watching for Greg Brown.
Yeah.
And then we all started being like, but that center Kai Jones kid, that's the real danger.
The kid that got slapped and should have went to the line but didn't.
Greg Brown is someone who can slash, but I honestly don't know if he knows all the rules to the game of basketball.
Kind of a big thing.
He looks a little lost at times, and he doesn't know how to fucking pass the ball. That's a problem.
Yeah.
But man, the athletics, Ricky, the way this kid can attack the basket, if he gets some help and some excellent coaching, which is exactly what the Raptors organization excels at.
Yeah.
He could be dangerous at the next level, and I am excited about the idea because I think he can only succeed in a handful of spots. But especially as a second rounder, like it is so hard with the situations that they get tossed into. Yeah, I love the idea of Greg Brown getting a chance to grow, and then must say it, Pascal Siakam, watch your back, yo.
Pascal Siakam, watch your back. He's coming for your job.
I think Greg Brown has NBA starter level talent. His athleticism is there. He attacks so well. He can get boards, but he just does not get the whole game yet.
Now I'm gonna
he's raw.
Yeah, I'm gonna throw out this name. It's this is a prospect that is declared. Yep. Yes, I'm a homer for.
Of course,
but I do not think. I think this is a smokescreen. I think that he declared to go through the process. He's not going to hire an agent. He's going to come back and play for the orange and blue. If Kofi's undrafted, Toronto would be a perfect spot. Like, you need a big. He's got the body. You just mentioned what they have to help him, like, personnel style. Like, when you were talking, I was like, man, if Kofi actually does go through with this and probably goes undrafted, even though he should be a second round. If he hires an agent, he should be a second rounder on his body.
Right, alone. Unless he hits, like, pick 40 and he's like, I will choose my own team. Thank you very much.
He do not take that. Like, Toronto would be a great landing spot for him. But yet again, I don't think he's going to be in the pool. I think he comes back because he hasn't hired an agent.
I have a question for you.
Go ahead, hit me.
Last one. If they're trading up to the end of the first round.
Yes.
And Kyle Lowry's potentially leaving, do you like the idea of Daishan Nix being their guy?
I do. Oh, not because it's like, oh my God, he's going to be so great right away. But I do feel like he can learn from Dad Van Vliet and Nick Nurse and the personnel. Like, that's
he has such good size to use, and like we're all expecting him to lean down and muscle up a little bit more because he came into the G League a little thick.
Yep.
Little rocking that bod.
Not Zion Williamson thick, though.
But the idea of him potentially being, I mean, he could be a pure point guard out there who has the ability to attack. He needs to work on, obviously, a lot of things. He's not a top 10 pick, but I have him ranked very highly in my big board because I think he has all the tools to get there, and he's got great size to do it.
I don't know how to gauge Dacian Nix, like predicting what he will be. Like, great. Like, is he going to be the best hit prospect where he was? Will he be a like? I don't know where to gauge him because you're right. He's got all the tools, but there was an expectation coming into the G League Ignite team, and out of all the guys, I think he was the one that kind of was just there. Like, he didn't do bad, but he didn't do great. He was just there.
Yeah, 2 really pop-off performances, but the fact that they were still hesitant to go with him over Jarrett Jack kind of led a lot of people to think something.
The vet Jarrett
My
Jack.
thought was, Jarrett Jack's out for that NBA contract with the Nets. He's a greedy motherfucker.
He'll wait till the playoffs, man. Right before the playoffs, he'll ink that deal.
He can't.
He can't. Already. Oh, that's right.
We've already passed the date for playoff roster eligibility.
Damn.
So it's unlikely.
I guess he just wanted to play with the young guns, then.
I'm just dude's a gamer, you know?
Dave's like, why not get that ring, bro?
I thought he was going to go for it. I really did.
I mean, hey, I wouldn't pass up a free NBA. If the Nets wanted to sign me just to sit on the bench to get a ring, I'd sign. I'd sign at below the vet minimum. I'd just sign below that. I don't even think I qualify for the vet minimum because I'd be a rookie into the league, Dave. But that is going to do it for MVP Sports Live today. Thank you guys for being such a great audience. Thank you, Dave. This was a great Friday show, Dave. I had fun doing this show. Yep. Next week, I will say this. We do know for sure on the schedule that Monday is going to be NFL again. Because we had a big
Wednesday is going to be NFL. Thursday is going to be NFL, and Friday is going to be NFL.
So it's
the NFL draft, Ricky.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be.
Is there a reason to not do NFL 4 out of 5 days?
So the thing that Jake and I were leaning towards, because Jake talked to me about it, I'm pretty sure because of time, Thursday there will not be an actual show. It's just going to be the live stream of the draft. Yeah, it's Monday and Friday will probably be. I don't think, like, Wednesday I might do a video, but I think the show will do, because we got to cover a little bit of baseball. We got to cover basketball. We can't ignore basketball. So at the least it'll be football, Tuesday. Basketball, maybe baseball in there as well. But Monday and Friday will be NFL faux show. Join the Discord if you have not already. That link down below, or type in !Discord in the Twitch chat to get that link for you. It's free. It's a great community. We talk about all the sports each and every day. And if you love the NBA chat is always popping off for the MVP Discord. If you want to support us, patreon.com/MVPvids, or throwing us a sub on Twitch is how you can do that. Thank you to our Patreon sponsor, Pat Hill. Forgot to say that in the opening. We're on Twitch, twitch.tv/MVPvids all weekday long. We are always, well, really not all weekday long, but Monday through Friday. Monday through Friday is what I was trying to say. We're on YouTube at MVP Sports. Dave, like I said, this is a great show. Like, halfway through the show, I'm sitting here going, this is one of our best. Like, put this in the pile of one of the great shows that we've done. I really had fun doing it. Again, thank you guys for being as great as you always are. We can't do this without the help and support of you guys. And as always, have a good day, everybody.
WPN.